Okay, we're going to just take a peek at, I made this screen really large so that we can get the whole microscope in, I'm hoping. But this is what your lesson is going to look like. And, exploring with a microscope, you'll notice that you have learned about the microscope here. So there's a live link right there for you to go to where your microscope is. And then you have a worksheet that you're going to be working on. Now, in the past, some of the students maybe hadn't read the following little couple of sentences here, but so they tried to, when they went into the worksheet, they were concerned that they couldn't just fill in the worksheet there and then actually have some way to that it actually just submitted to me. But that's not how it works. There is a worksheet there, but you'll need to actually write out the answers from your worksheet. You can attempt to I can't remember if one student actually wrote into the worksheet and then had to copy and paste it into a Word doc. And then, attach the Word doc. I think one person did, but certainly most of the students, if not almost all of them, just wrote the answers in the text box or just wrote them on a Word doc and, labeled them 1, A, B, C, or 2, however they needed to be labeled, and just submitted it that way. So just know that when you get to your worksheet, just put the answers from there as you go through it onto a separate doc and then submit that. So, when you finish the worksheet, you have an additional 4 questions here that you're going to be answering. You can also answer them on the same Word doc, or you can and also put them into the text box here, whatever's going to work out best for you, whatever you feel most comfortable with. So I thought we would actually go and take a look at the microscope, and then we'll take a look at the worksheet. Now, I don't think when we go to the microscope, it's like a virtual lab. It's not our virtual lab that we have for many labs, but it is like an animated virtual lab that I found online, and it goes through the microscope very, very nicely, and it's an interactive one that you actually get to maneuver all the pieces on the microscope. You'll learn about those. You can move them. You'll put slides on. You'll look at different things, and then also it has another site where you're going to actually go to, and you can look at. I think there's about seven really interesting things that they show you underneath a microscope, that if you've never looked under a microscope before, you'll be surprised at how that enhances and enlarges what you're looking at, and how awesome it is to see what it really looks like, because here in real life that the object is usually too small for us to see any of the neat parts that you can now see when you look at that object underneath a microscope. So I think the instructions as we go through the microscope here, when they're talking, I don't think you'll be able to hear. So if you hear a period of quiet, I'll just wait until they stop talking, and then I'll briefly go over what they had said. Okay, so what they say here, you see this nice little arrow. They do a fine job on pointing out to you different things, and so you know where to go. For all of you, I'm sure you'll want to go through the tour here before you actually start doing anything, and it'll take you step by step through all the parts of the microscope, how to manage them, how to move them, what they do, all kinds of neat stuff. So you click right on here, and here's where I don't think you'll hear the the person talking, but then I'll fill in just a minute. So you'd click there.
This simulation looks very much like a real compound microscope. To succeed in getting a specimen into view, follow this sequence of steps. The checklist will help you keep track of steps you have completed. First, turn on the light. Click here to learn how to do this.
Okay, so what he just got through explaining was, here's the steps that you would actually go through to actually get your specimen, into view here, such that you can see, what's on that slide. And so what you would do is the first thing that they explained to you is how to control the lighting. So you would click this one, and then they would take you through the steps and show you exactly how to turn on the microscope and the different things that you can do to control the lighting to either make it brighter or more dim. Once you're finished with that, then you would click on to pick a slide, and then after that you'd pick on to switching objectives. And these are the objectives here, just to kind of fill you in on that. Each of the things that hang down here, those are a lens. Each of those have a lens in it that magnifies it the amount of times that you see the number on here. So if you look at this one, that objective actually has a lens in it that multiplies the object 4 times larger. This one 40 times larger. This one 100 times larger. Now what's interesting about a microscope is up here in the oculars you also have a lens. So when you, like if I put the 4 down here and I'm looking through the 4 objective and then I look up here, the total magnification would not be the 4, it would be, because this magnification is 10, they always take the ocular magnification, multiply it times the objective multiplication, and that's your total magnification. So that one would be 10 times the 4 to give you 40. So they'll be going through all of that. Over here they had mentioned that you have a checklist, and as you go through everything you'll know that you've done everything because as you go through it, either you or they will check it off as you go through it. So you can make sure that you've covered everything that you need to know on that microscope and that you haven't accidentally passed by something. So let's see. So we have that. Here, you'll want to click more whenever need be. Up here it's kind of nice. I'll tell you about that here. The views switch. So you switch from looking at the outside of the microscope to as if you were going to actually look through the microscope here. Now, they are going to ask you to, at one point, to do something with these oculars here. And when I first went through it, I was trying to move them. Everything else is so easy to move. I'm thinking, how does that move? And then I thought, oh, I better look at the note here. You must turn the light on if you want to look through the microscope and be able to, begin doing things. So I had to go back to here and make sure that I had my microscope on, the light on, such that then when I went back here, I'm able to move those oculars and do what I need to do, because when you look through the oculars, there's something to do with a bright circle that you see that you actually need to maneuver a bit about to get it right in the right place. And if you don't have the light on here, then you won't see that bright circle, or actually it's a couple circles at first that you need to bring together into one. So as you go through, everything is pretty well, I think they've done a really fine job on it. Just make sure that you read the little notes if they come up. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with this. It really is quite a fun lab. Let's see here. Now this here is your worksheet, and when you go into it, as you can see, you can use that virtual microscope, which is pretty cool. And here's the website for it, but I've already put the link into your lesson. So now here's your worksheet, and so it says familiarize yourself with a microscope. Okay, do the tutorial, examine the parts you'll be working with. So make sure you've done all that, and then 1A, they will begin asking you some questions. So this is what you're going to write on a separate piece of paper. Okay, I don't think you can write anything in here. So write those answers on a separate piece of paper. Now the only thing that you might have a problem with is it says draw the E. One of the slides that you're going to be looking at has an E on it that was cut out from a newspaper. And what the point is that they want to show you is that when you put that E on, and you'll probably put it on the slide, just as if you were looking down, it looks like an E upright and looking forward, just as we see it here. But when you look at it under the microscope, you're going to notice something different about that E. And so if you aren't able to draw it and get it to me that way, then feel free to just explain to me what the difference is. So you don't have to draw it, just explain what the E looks like. And you'll want to then, you're going to look under the 4 times objective, the magnification. You're going to look under the low, which is a 10 times magnification, and then the high. And we're going to actually, normally you would draw it. It would actually behoove you to actually draw it yourself so that it'll just enhance your learning greatly. Just do it on a side piece of paper. And then you can explain to me what you're seeing on each of the drawings that you have made. Now down here, just a matching. As you can tell, you can look over here. There's the A, B, C on, they've labeled parts of the microscope. You need to just tell which part is which. Here's some neat things. You're going to go to this particular live link, and they have some cool microscopic images of common things like we were talking about before. And so after you do them, you're going to go to the quiz and write down the names of the specimens. So whatever on that quiz for A would be, you'd put it here. For B, you put it here. There is going to be one that does not have a specimen, so all you have to put is that letter is missing or that specimen is missing. And I like the fact that it's there, because it really can reinforce to me whether someone has actually gone through this as you're supposed to go through it, because I know they've come across a missing something and they actually write that in. So I think you'll have a lot of fun with this microscope lab, and I think you'll learn a lot. Certainly, if you have any questions or you get stuck at all, feel free to give me a phone call or a text or something. We can even pull this up and look at it together if you'd like, just one-to-one. So have fun with this, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what you turn in and talking with you a little bit later. So thanks for watching, and I hope that helps. Bye-bye.